As I record this, it is the 16th of March, the Wednesday, before we begin in Bahrain for a very heavily anticipated season of Formula One. I've done my driver's predictions. This is my 2022 Constructors Championship predictions. So I'll begin at number 10. I don't really want this video to be too long. A lot of them recently have been fairly long. We'll try and keep this short as possible. But in number 10, I'm going with Alfa Romeo. I'm not going to go with Haas. You've got to bear in mind, my Drivers' Championship video was made before the news Mazepin would leave and Magnussen would come in. This video is made after that. And I think that's going to make a difference, a massive difference. I think Magnussen will beat Schumacher. Why have I said Schumacher like that? But I think he'll beat Schumacher, which kind of ruins my driver's predictions, but it ruins most people's driver's predictions. So that is why I've now put Haas ahead of Alfa Romeo. I think not only is Guan Yu Zhou going to still come last, I now think Magnussen might beat Bottas, because now I've seen testing as well. Oh, I'm starting to think Alpha looks slow, Haas don't look as bad. I mean, you shouldn't base much off testing, but I'm going to go ahead and say Haas finished 9th, because K-Mag might get like a podium or something stupid like that in a crazy race. And, yeah, Alpha 10th. So, you know, there it is, on to 9th, Haas, obviously. But, yeah, that's basically my whole explanation for that, is I would have gone 10th for Haas if it was for Mazepin still being there. Now that it's not, and that it's Kevin Magnussen, I'm behind the K-Mag train. I'm not going to lie, guys. I reckon he's going to do it for them. Points, definitely. Podium, that's my pick. If Haas get a podium, I called it first, okay? That's all. I just want that written in the records before we move on to number 8. Which, again, is someone who 2 weeks ago I would have put higher. But Williams haven't really, I don't know, impressed me much. Again, only in testing. But I don't feel the same hype around them as I do about someone like Alpine, who I maybe would have genuinely had an 8th. But now they've moved up not only to 7th, but to 6th. And Williams stay 8th because I was so hyped about Albon. I'm starting to get a bit scared about the amount of hype I have about him. You know, maybe he's not going to be the guy I thought he was going to be, which could be a problem, considering I think I put him 9th in my predictions. Hey, I was living in the moment, and I was excited for Alex Albon. Maybe I was a little bit optimistic. We'll see, though. Maybe not. But that's why Williams go 8th. I think in a very tight season, Williams are going to find it hard to keep up reliability-wise, just all-round package-wise and driver-wise. Latifi, technically, yes, this is his 3rd year in F1, but he's not really experienced in battle because he hasn't had to do it very much. Last season, more, but not as much. Albon has got that experience, but we'll see what happens. I'm going Williams 8th. I'd love it if they do better. I feel like that might be the best they can do, though. Unlucky for them. Maybe not. This is so maybe, though. Like, I know it's predictions, and I shouldn't really say that, but it is. So, like, what's going to happen? No one really knows. On to 7th, then. For me, the hardest. For me, this was between Alpine and Aston Martin. And I've gone with Aston Martin. Purely because Alpine there's something about Alpine after testing. There's just a vibe I get. I don't know what it is. They weren't even particularly quick. I just get a vibe that El Plan is going to come home. I don't know why. Aston Martin have just been a bit meh. Their car, I think, we'll see in my livery ranking, which I'll do soon. I don't think it's as good as people have said it is. The livery's all right. Like, I think it's a good livery. I just think the car is so ugly. So, I mean, trust me, I'm not biased. I just wanted to say that. But yeah, I've gone with Aston Martin in 7th. Vettel, I love him. I don't know who doesn't. You know, it's common knowledge. Everyone is a Sebastian Vettel fan, but he's old. He is old. He is nearly fossilised, and I know I've just said that, and I'm going to move on to Alpine, who literally have a 42-year-old, but I think Vettel's going to retire. I feel like Vettel retiring is more certain than Alonso retiring, which is weird, but I think it is, and I think Vettel is at the end of his career, which is sad, but I do think he's poor. He's had poor performances this season. He'll be poor this season. What have I just said? He'll be poor this season because he's had poor performances last season. I think he's only going to get worse with age. And yeah, Alonso, I don't even think Alonso's going to retire. I think he'll go again. If he likes the regs and he's good with the new regs, he's the kind of guy who'll just keep going. Like, he'll be 57 years old and he'll just be, boom, fastest lap driver of the day, Fernando Alonso. He'll have great grandchildren. So yeah, that's 6th and 7th. Move on to 5th. I've gone with AlphaTauri, which is out there, people will say. I don't think it's as out there as maybe people would say it is. I think Gasly is going to be rapid, and I think he will finish, supposedly, as you saw in my drivers' predictions, best of the rest behind Merc, Ferrari, Red Bull, McLaren. Like them four, I think he will finish behind those 8 drivers in those teams. And I think Tsunoda should have a better season, has to have a better season. He cannot afford to have a poor season because he'll get dropped. He'll get dropped so fast, especially with the talent they've got in F2. Potential champions everywhere you look. Vips, Lawson, and obviously Dennis Hauger, F3 champion. I think Tsunoda is at big time risk. And if he doesn't put in an absolute shift, he's out. So I think the pressure on Tsunoda will be the kind of pressure that motivates him and doesn't kind of put him off. And I think they'll do really well. I still think he's going to be far off Gasly, but I think he'll do okay. I still think he'll get dropped because he won't do good enough, but I think he'll do reasonably enough to beat Alpine and Aston Martin. Now we go on to the crux of these predictions, top 4. I don't think 4th is a massive surprise when I go with McLaren, because there's just, with Ferrari and Red Bull and Mercedes, there's this kind of vibe that's like, yeah, they're fighting for a championship. They are fighting for a championship. McLaren, I don't know if they're going to quite be there. They might be. Like, I don't know why there's this thing that they won't be, because they're fast. There's just something about them that thinks, maybe they won't. Maybe they won't be. They absolutely could be. I don't think they will be. I think they're going to be. I think they'll be close. I think they'll fight for wins every now and again, for sure. I think Lando and Daniel will both win a race. I do not think that they will beat Red Bull, Ferrari or Mercedes on points. On to 3rd. I've gone with Red Bull. I know I said Max would win the championship, but I also said Perez would come 8th. And I think it's going to be so close. Like, between these 3 teams, I feel like we're talking, like, maybe 15, 20, 25 points. Like, seriously close. And I think, you know, Ferrari and Mercedes, you would say both their drivers are really strong. With Red Bull, there's a clear number 1. There's a clear that Max will be prioritised. Sergio will be put on strategies that perhaps are unfavourable to his race, but that give Max an advantage. And I think they will lose the constructors in the attempt to make Max world champion. As I said, I think it will work, and I think he will be. But I think Red Bull will come 3rd because of how much they prioritise Max Verstappen. Maybe they won't, and they'll fight for the constructors, but I don't think they will, because I think it's such a hard battle, and Perez maybe doesn't quite have the driving ability, especially in qualifying. I think he lacks over Mercedes and Ferrari drivers. So I'd say Red Bull 3rd, 2nd Ferrari, not Mercedes, Ferrari 2nd. They will just miss out. Can they keep development up over a whole season? Because Mercedes can. Mercedes absolutely can. They showed it last year. Red Bull dropped off at the end of last year and Mercedes got quicker. Obviously, in that straight line speed, they were just phenomenal, and I can see that happening again, and I can see maybe Ferrari leading the Constructors first half of the season into the second half, but I'd say Mercedes will take it, especially once George really adapts to the new car, and once he really settles in. I think they're absolutely... I cannot see a reason why Mercedes, if they can deliver a quick car with two, I think, phenomenal drivers in Lewis and George, wouldn't take the Constructors. I think Ferrari, will they have reliability issues, engine penalty issues, or something? I just feel like something's going to hinder Ferrari, and I don't think they're going to quite be consistent enough to win a championship. That's what I think. They will not be consistent enough, and that is why Mercedes will be Constructors champion, although Lewis misses out on the 8th. Probably retires, maybe, I'm not sure. I do think that they will win the Constructors again. The team is so strong, Toto is so good, and even if they don't win the drivers, I think they've got a very good chance at Constructors. I think that does contradict my drivers. I don't think it's possible with the driver combination I picked, but time has passed, testing has passed since then, and that's what I'm going with. So there's my 10. I think I've done a pretty good job at keeping it quite succinct, or at 11-12 minutes. I think that's pretty good. I needed to get this out obviously before the first race, so thanks for watching. Livery ranking is probably going to be the next video soon, things along those lines. I'm working on a big kind of redesign project at the moment, which will take some time, but that will be out as well, which is pretty cool. I'm excited for the brand new season. Enjoy this weekend and enjoy the rest of your day, life, everything. See you soon.